Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 28th day of December, 2022. So we're between the Christmas holiday and the New Year's. And so we're in the last week of 2022 on the Gregorian calendar. I hope you're healthy and safe today. I hope your family is healthy and safe, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food and shelter and clothing as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, in the first responders, trying every day to save lives, and those also that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks, highways, parks, stairwells, buildings clean and disease free. Those also that, no matter what the weather, no matter what the situation, make deliveries for our convenience of things like food and water and mail and other things. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses upon the perpetrators, double curses upon the profiteers, double curses upon those perverts that create this inhuman, miserable industry. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men and women, and mostly children, that are on the streets of the United States of America. And there are millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, especially the children, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night. The Knicks lost 126-121 in overtime to the Dallas Mavericks at Dallas. I'm not like, as y'all should know, I don't trip out like some of y'all do. Ready to jump off bridges, ready to talk about fire timber, or ready to talk about make trades, because some of y'all are just too dramatic. First of all, the Knicks did not have Jalen Brunson. Now, why is this important? Let's just explain why this is important. The Knicks could play without Jalen Brunson, but there's an adjustment. You have to understand that when you're playing a rotation, as Tom Thibodeau does, whenever somebody's missing from that, there is the next man up mentality, but there's an adjustment because you're used to this other guy. And the Knicks could have overcome that. But then within a minute of the game, maybe two, R.J. Barrett lacerates his hand. Now you got a problem, okay? You got two guys that are used to being in that rotation, in the starting lineup, playing 35, 40 minutes a game, and suddenly you don't have either. So that was a major blow yesterday, early in the game. The Knicks were up 9 with 26.9 seconds left, and they could not close the deal. They could not get the ball over half court. They did hit most of their free throws down the stretch, especially your Deuce McBride. And, Deuce hit his 5 of 6 from the line. And he was being put on the line a lot at the end. And, of course, Quentin Grimes was 2 or 3. But Luka Doncic had 60 points yesterday. 60. See, I was listening to the game. I like the NBA TV crew, of course, infinitely better than the TNT crew. But even listening to Derek Harper is like listening to a cheerleader and a referee on the side of Dallas. So I muted it and I'm watching the game. Now I saw Luka scoring, but I didn't think it was 60 points till the game was over. I couldn't believe he had actually scored 60. But to me, the Knicks did a good job, dealing with that type of talent, that type of onslaught from that superstar, because that's what Luka is. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. He's an MVP candidate. He's a superstar. Okay, but hey, this is what happens when you have a young team. So aside from Brunson and Randle, you really have a young team. As I said, Mitchell Robinson this is the first time in his career that he's playing this type of minutes. Grimes, this is his second year. Deuce, this is his second year. And what happens? Think about this for a second, objectively, instead of the hate, the Thibodeau hate, and the highlighting of all the mistakes, like you write for the New York Post and your name is Berman. But every young team, when they're on an uptick, when they're growing as players, they have to learn how to close games. Okay? They have to learn how to close games. It's part of a development process. So yesterday you had on the floor, you had Grimes, Quickly, Deuce, you had MitchRob, and you had Randle on the floor. And so you're really the ball. And what I liked yesterday is several times Julius Randle handed the ball to one of them young fellas so that they could run things. And yeah, they got to learn how to close out the game. Okay, so they lost. There were some really freaky plays at the end. Some of those referee calls at the end were, let's just say, questionable. But I like how these guys performed yesterday. And so to me, I'm looking, last night I was on KOT with my man Jay Ellison, and I prefer to focus on a macro level because, as I said, I've been saying, to me, year one was Tom Thibodeau's first year 2 years ago, and that's year one of a rebuild. I know Tibbs didn't think that way, but I'm looking at it as these young guys that we have now developing, and I'm looking at a 5-year plan. Okay, I don't look at it, game to game, we blew this and we got to make everything change. Some of y'all just don't know how to create or look at or talk about something longer term. Okay, just in general, in life, you should have a 5-year plan. But in basketball, the successful franchises have 5-year plans. Why do you think they signed Thibodeau for 5 years? Part of a 5-year plan. Okay, so look, let's talk about Thibodeau first. If this is a 5-year contract, you want the Knicks to progress year by year. You want them to progress, especially with the development of the players they drafted. The Knicks have a bevy, as we know, of draft picks. So now what you're doing is you're creating value with these guys that nobody knows if they can play or not. So now you just, to me yesterday, Deuce McBride got 46 minutes. He shot 4 of 14, one of from the floor, 1 of 9 from 3. But of course, he played stellar defense. And to me, if you keep giving him minutes like that and stop yo-yoing him from 6 minutes to 46, you're going to get a consistent shot from him. Okay? That's the kind of thing I like to see. I saw Grimes yesterday score 33 points, shot 7 of 16 from 3, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Lockdown defense, even on a 60-point Luka. Okay, what you going to talk about that? When you play a guy like Luka, it's not just on Grimes. It's a team defense you got to go at these type of guys with. You can't just expect one guy to shut down a basketball savant like Luka Doncic. But you need a team. But I still feel like Grimes and Deuce did a good job, better job than what the other ways would have happened if they weren't playing on Luka and on Dallas in general. So in fact, the Dallas Mavericks shot 28% from 3 yesterday. 28%. That's more in line with a Tom Thibodeau defense. So you're looking to develop. Think of the bigger picture, Knicks Nation. You're looking to develop these guys. Nobody, especially in my channel, you never heard me say the Knicks are going to the ECF this year. And if anybody expected that, I don't know who you're listening to. But I want the Knicks to develop, to progress. To me, that represents 45 wins. And I see them do it. I'm still with that, seeing them do it. I've been saying it before the 8-game winning streak, during the 8-game winning streak. After the 8-game winning streak, I'm telling you 45 wins at least for the Knicks this year. I'm telling you they're a work in progress. They're going to get better. But yesterday was a learning experience especially for Grimes, for Deuce, and for, Quickly. A learning experience. So these are young guys. They got to learn how to close a game out. This is the next iteration of their development. Okay. So Mitchell Robinson was phenomenal. 16 rebounds, 7 on the offensive end, which is, he really, Tom is right. There's only maybe one guy, 2 guys that can offensive rebound on the level of a Mitchell Robinson. He really is elite in that area. And he plays defense. Like in the beginning of the game, I was concerned because Julius Randle was missing some assignments in the first quarter. And quite honestly, even though I saw him doing that, I'm at the point with Randle where I'm figuring like, okay, he might start off, with the wrong headset. He was jogging down the floor and they found his man wide open a couple of times. But he will adjust. And he did. He will adjust over the course of the game. And he did. I'm really learning to appreciate him more as he is now developing an overall game. I will not say Julius Randle is a superstar, but he is definitely the talent to be a star in the NBA, an all-star and all NBA player. He could do that, and he's playing at that level right now. Yeah, this was a game they had. They really did have. In fact, all four losses, they were up in the fourth quarter. Okay, all four losses. But this one is a little different because, like I said, there's no Brunson, there's no RJ, and these young guys were trying to carry us last night. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I like the 9-man rotation. I like what Tibbs did right last night, what was making me feel very confident, which really we should have been as we came to the close of the game. The three-headed defensive monster of Mitchell Robinson, Quentin Grimes, and Deuce McBride. That's what you want out there. I told you that yesterday. As much as you can, you want that on the floor. Because, look, 28% from 3 points. That's what you want on the floor. That's your best perimeter and rim defending defense. And they played a lot yesterday. Now, quickly, 1 for 10 from 3, 5 for 21 from the field. I mean, he didn't shoot the ball well, but again, he was hustling. He was playing defense, and he had 15 assists yesterday, and he only had 1 turnover. So he wasn't shooting the ball particularly well, but he's a threat, and that's what was important yesterday. So I'm not crying. I'm not jumping off a bridge because they lost this game against Dallas. Some of y'all get caught up in headlines, and then really that Twitter emotional thing is off the chain. Some of those people, I think they either teenagers, that where they think a week is like a 10-year stretch, or they just really, got mental issues. But it's not all that. It really isn't. This was a good learning experience for these kids. So I'm liking the way it looks right now. I was surprised that RJ didn't get back in the game. I saw his hand. He did have a big gash on his hand. I think what happened is his left hand hit his right hand, and one of his nails, I think he cut himself. He had contact with somebody, then his hands came together in a way that cut his hand. And it must have been painful because RJ's a big, strong boy, and he just walked off the floor. Like he was immediately telling Thibodeau, get me out of here. And the game was still going on, and he started walking off the floor. So, and he went right to the locker room. So I was thinking they're gonna stitch him up and put him back, but he didn't come back. So I'm hoping he didn't break the finger. That if it's a laceration, they could stitch it up and tape it up, and he'll be back to play Thursday night against San Antonio. And so, no, I'm very hopeful. I call for a 2-1 road trip. I'm still calling for a 2-1 road trip. It's not going to be easy now. San Antonio is a winnable game. They're not at their best right now, but Houston has been on an uptick. Houston's been playing really good lately, bringing, their young teams developing. Apparently, Kevin Porter Jr. is matured, at least, at this point, or he understands that he got money to make and he can't afford to mess up. But he's playing ball right now. And of course, we know they got Jabari Smith. Sengun is playing out of his mind too. So that's not going to be an easy game. But I hope they sit Brunson one more game and play these kids again. I'd like to see Deuce and Grimes and MitchRob out there for extended minutes. Mitchell Robinson, he played 36 minutes. Some people don't understand that this is year 5 for him and still think that he's the second-year dude that got in foul trouble all the time. That's not him no more. He only had 3 fouls yesterday. See, no turnovers. He scored 20 points. And finally, the Knicks were looking for him on the low post. Finally. And he was victimizing whoever was trying to guard him. I'd like them to keep doing that. Keep looking for him on the low post, because what that does is opens up opportunities for everybody, because now they not only have to pay attention to Mitchell Robinson as an offensive rebounding threat, he might get the ball in the low post and dunk it on you. And he was doing that quite a bit yesterday. So I like it, man. Hartenstein played 12 minutes, and that's about what he should play, 12 minutes. Jericho Sims was not, his head, I don't know. He went to University of Texas, so he was probably hyped. He's from Minnesota, but he went to University of Texas, and he was probably hyped to play, back in where he went to college at, even though he was in Austin and this game was in Dallas. He really did some bonehead stuff yesterday. We could have used, a good Jericho Sims yesterday, but he was off his game. Derrick Rose played 12 minutes. That's the next man up for Tibbs. Just get over that whole Cam thing, y'all. I understand some of y'all tripping as if Cam is a savior. He's not. He's really talented. But stop tripping. Dang, some of y'all, I don't know. What is it? Anyway, Derrick Rose was the next man up. And he played 12 solid minutes for the Knicks yesterday. That's about what you can expect from him. And I like that because if we need him come playoff time, he's going to give us a high level of 12 minutes, which is what you want from a guy that's 34 and had all of those knee issues, over his career. So overall, yes, it was a disappointing loss. It wasn't tired legs. I'm not buying that. These are NBA players, y'all. Come on. Back in the day, people used to play 82 games and play 40 minutes a game. There ain't no tired legs. This is about getting used to playing those minutes, though, for sure. They got to get used to it. And if I'm going to criticize Tibbs, I need him to be more consistent with the 9-man rotations minutes. Especially, I mentioned Deuce McBride. You can't play him 20 minutes one game and then 6 another. And it's not because of injury. You got to have consistency. Everybody, you want to know how to get a consistent production? You got to get consistent minutes. A guy has to go into the game knowing what he's getting that day. Okay, that's the only criticism I would like of Tom. I'm not criticizing. Everybody's looking at how many minutes they play. Look here, this is the Dallas Mavericks. Christian Wood played 40 minutes. Tim Hardaway played 42 minutes. Dinwiddie played 44 minutes. Doncic played 47 minutes. Dwight Powell played 31. Okay, Reggie Bullock played 26. That's about what Tom Thibodeau was doing. Okay, somebody focusing on Kemba Walker's 5 minutes, please stop. And Frank Ntilikina's 7 minutes. I was loving when they was in the game. We was killing them when they was in the game. So, I don't know why everybody Tibbs plays his players too much. Look at his history. Listen, the next time you coach 20 years in the NBA and have an over 500 record for your 20 years, only 2 losing seasons in 20 years, then you could talk to me. Otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about. So a lot of people act like they coached in the NBA and disrespect a dude that has done it. I got the boys back. Forget y'all. Nah, we good. I like what happened. I don't like that they lost, but I like the way they fought. I like the effort they put in. I want to see Jalen Brunson rest one more game and let Deuce and Quick get the minutes. And I'm feeling pretty confident they'll be pretty good that next time. I'm very confident, matter of fact. So, yeah, I think we're in good shape. I'm hoping RJ is back for Thursday. I just can't see that hand keeping him out a whole game. Not RJ. Tape it up, sew it up, get ready to play Thursday. And it was his right hand. It's not his left hand. It's his right hand. So I'm thinking we should be all right for Thursday. That's tomorrow night. But yeah, I'm not gonna jump off a bridge and trip because they lost this game. It's just a stretch. This is the league, man. So we still in the 6th seed. Let's let them grind out. They got to grind. Okay, it's about now. They got their rotation. They're not going to change it. Everybody that's playing is playing in the 9-man rotation. D Rose is the next man up when somebody's hurt. That Tom needs to get consistent with especially like I said, the Deuce, Mitchell Robinson, Grimes trio needs to play 20 minutes together. You want perimeter, you got to play those cats 20 minutes together, okay? And if you could get that done, we got a good chance of being pretty good. So I'm not worried about this. Yes, I'd like them to have won, but I'm just looking at the stats. They had 27 assists last night. They had 55 rebounds. They only had 9 turnovers. They played a really good game. They held Dallas to 28% shooting from 3. I mean, I'll take that. Yes, they should have closed the game, but these are young guys. You put the ball in these young guys' hands. Julius is trying to play a team brand of ball, which is what we've all been asking him to do, and that's what he was doing. So you can't, it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. So, and them refs stunk last night, for real. They gave Lucas some calls, like nobody touched him. They just gave him calls, okay? I hate when they decide the outcome of a game like this with calls like that. Anyway, it is what it is. We got to play games. We're up, San Antonio up next. Let's get this done. Like I said, I would like, please, Brunson, sit one more game. Let these kids come in here and do their business. Get some more experience. I don't think Quickly's going to have another 1 for 10 game from 3-point range if he starts against San Antonio. Just saying. Okay? And let Deuce play another 35, 40 minutes. I'm all in on that. Right? We'd be in good shape. I'm not worried. I like the way this is looking long term. I really am. And then some of y'all, some of you have asked, based on all of the chatter out here, who do I think we should get as far as free agency? Let me explain this to y'all. You don't think about that right now if you're us. If you're Scott Perry, and if you're Leon Rose, you're looking at what's available. That's why the news that the Knicks inquired about Tobias Harris. Some of y'all, I guess they just need clicks. Let me explain to y'all. General managers call all teams about good players all the time. That's their job. Okay? So you could say, for example, the Knicks contacted the Lakers about Anthony Davis. Does that mean they're going to get Anthony Davis? Does that mean they really want to trade for him? No. But somebody will make a headline by saying the Knicks contacted the Lakers about Anthony Davis. Because they contact every team about every player. It means nothing. What we're going to wait, though, is we're going to see how these young guys develop over the course of the season. We're going to see how far the Knicks can go with the lineup, the rotation they have, especially when OB gets back. And then you're going to look and see at the end of the season who, according to what Scott Perry, what Leon Rose have been talking to in terms of all the NBA teams, who is available, maybe a disgruntled guy, and how would they fit with the Knicks? So, for example, people were talking about Levine, to the Knicks. Again, a dumb idea. But what you have to ask yourself, who is Levine replacing? Because there's certain untouchables in the Knicks lineup right now. Well, let's just take the starting lineup. You have Brunson, Grimes, RJ, Mitchell Robinson, and Julius Randle. So if you're going to replace one of them, the guy that you're replacing them with better bring you to another level, because you got a good starting unit right here that's just developing it together. So who is Levine replacing? See, some of y'all get into fantasy, start thinking, well, RJ. No, he's not. We're not paying $200 million for that guy to replace our number 3 overall pick. That would be stupid. So no, that's not happening. Okay? So what you have to decide is, can whoever you're thinking about bring you to the next level? Now, every team that is a top team has a guy like that. For example, Philly has Joel Embiid. If you put Joel Embiid at the 5 spot for the Knicks, and you're able to keep Julius Randle or Mitchell Robinson, we're going to the ECF next year. See, that's what I'm talking about. You get a guy like one of them. OG Anunoby doesn't move that needle. Neither does Donovan Mitchell for us. Okay? We're talking about Kevin Durant. Give me Kevin Durant, which is not happening, but I'm saying that's what you're talking about. Jason Tatum. Who else? Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who else? All right, let's take another one that I'm not interested in. Trae Young. And you know why? No defense, no brainer. But I would take a 6'6" LaMelo Ball, though. He changes everything. He's good enough defensively to not hurt us. He would be equal to Brunson at least, but more length. If we were able to get him, that's a game changer. See, with our present team, that's a game changer. Also, what you have to ask yourself is, how much are you have to give up? Do you have to gut your team like Danny Ainge wanted the Knicks to gut our team to get a guy that's not going to bring us to the ECF? And so who can you keep? You got to have some untouchables. You're building a nice team here. Okay? So these are the thoughts. You don't know the answer to that until you start to get into May and June. Then you're going to say, okay, we have draft capital. XYZ player is available. Is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wants to come to New York? Does Cat want to come to New York? Does the Joker? Does Dame Dollar? Does Anthony Simons? Do they want to come to New York? That's what I'm talking about. Does Devin Booker? These are game changers, real game changers, not speculative. This game changer. Does Luka Doncic want to come to New York? That's what you're talking about. Okay, so if you're going to make a deal for a superstar, make sure it's a game changer. A dude that next year, because he's on your team, and there's not that many as you can see, or Zion Williamson, that, okay, this guy's on your team now. You're talking ECF. That's what we're talking about. Okay? There's not that many guys out there. So y'all can stop throwing these middling names. Everybody talking about the Knicks are a mid team. You got to start at the bottom and go through the middle to get to the top. I don't know why y'all don't understand that. You don't just go from the bottom to the top. So the Knicks, if you talk about mid team, but you talk about middling players like Tobias Harris. Come on. If we're gonna make a deal, make it for real. You know how they say, come for real or don't come. Bring it. Come correct or don't come at all. That's how you gotta do it. So next summer, we'd have a better idea. What's available? How do they fit with us? What will we have to give up to get them? If we can get a guy that we can trade a lot of our draft capital for and a couple of players, that's what we want to do because we got the draft capital. Okay, so and if Joel Embiid decides he's going to leave Philadelphia or he wants to, it'd be a tough deal because he just signed a $200 million contract that starts next season. So it'd be tough to get him. Even if he wanted, it'd be tough. If James Harden left, they still got a good team. I think Maxi's just as good in terms of working with Embiid than Harden is right now. So I wouldn't worry about if I'm Philly. As long as Joel Embiid wants to stay, I'm not worried about what Harden does. I'm not. Okay. So, all of this, as far as Toronto Raptors, OG and no, he ain't moving the needle. He ain't. Okay. Maybe Siakam, a legit two-time All-NBA player. Maybe Siakam, depending on what you have to give up. See what I'm saying? So I don't know. We have to wait until next summer. I am not interested in Zach LaVine. Not with the present team as we are now constructed. I'm not interested in him. I like the way our team looks, and I like the way they're going to look if they continue on the upward trend of development they're doing now. I like how we're going to look next year. I'm very high on our squad. So, and again, Tom Thibodeau's going to fulfill his 5 years. Then I think they're going to change him. Then you're going to see probably the next coach to bring you to that next level. Okay, Chicago did that. They started off with I think it was Del Negro. And then after that, they brought in Tibbs. That's how that goes. Chicago did that. And then the Lakers did that. They started with Paul Westhead. And then they went to the finals with Magic and all that. Then they changed to Pat Riley. Once you get to a certain level, you get a coach to help you with that level. Right now, as far as change of culture, defensive identity, toughness, you want Tom Thibodeau for now. But then later on, you might get somebody else that's going to get you into that finals conversation. And Tibbs right now is 64 or 65 this year. So by the time his 5 years is up, he's pushing 70. He's not going to me, I don't think you want a head coach like that because there's great demands on a head coach in the NBA. So I'm not worried about Tibbs now. I'm not going to be calling for him to be fired or anything crazy like that. Let's just continue continuity, what we have, and let him do his 5 years and let these young guys continue to develop. And then we play it by ear and see what's out there. At the worst case, we're developing the guys that we drafted. And I like how they're coming along. So, you got to look more bigger, longer term than just this week, y'all. So anyway, I think we're in good shape. I'm looking forward to watching them against San Antonio Thursday night. I think we're going to be all right. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Don't get too carried away with all of this foolishness in the media. Shalom.